Clint Eastwood just shattered decades of silence, disclosing surprising truths behind the good, the bad, and the ugly, from near-death stunts and off-script legends to the real story behind that iconic squint. A recent fake interview scandal forced him to finally speak, and what he's admitted changes everything you thought you knew about the film. This isn't just a Western, it's a myth built on chaos, tension, and secrets buried until now. When most people think of the good, the bad, and the ugly, one image comes to mind. Clint Eastwood's squint, that steely, silent gaze beneath the brim of a dusty hat, became one of the most iconic visuals in film history. But here's what few fans know. It wasn't just acting. It wasn't carefully rehearsed. It was survival. During the grueling shoot in the arid plains of Spain, where temperatures soared and the sun beat down relentlessly, Eastwood found himself constantly squinting out of necessity. With no access to modern lighting shields or digital filters, the intense sunlight made wide-eyed acting impossible. Director Sergio Leone loved the look and encouraged Clint to embrace it. Over time, the squint became part of the character's mystique. The less he says, the more dangerous he feels. Eastwood told about his approach to Blondie. This wasn't accidental. Very early drafts of the script had few lines for the man with no name. For Leone, action and atmosphere told the story better than words. Eastwood agreed, but not without calling for cutting superfluous lines and allowing silence where others would monologue. This creative decision came after considerable tension between Eastwood and Leone's opposing visions. Clint wanted Blondie to have a sense of justice, even if buried under cynicism. Leone followed the opposite reasoning, fatalism. Clint Eastwood may have been the face on the poster, but on set, Eli Wallach, who played Tuco, was stealing the spotlight. From his very first appearance, half-crazed, half-charming, gun in one hand and insults in the other, Tuco exploded off the screen with chaotic energy that even Leone didn't fully anticipate. What began as a secondary role quickly grew into something much bigger. According to behind-the-scenes reports, Eastwood recognized Wallach's electrifying performance almost immediately. While Eastwood embodied containment and calculation, Wallach was noise, messiness, and color. Leone, initially having Eastwood's Blondie as the quiet center, began reshaping much of the action to showcase more of Tuco. Eastwood later said in 1980s interviews that Tuco was the real engine of the film, and Wallach a scene-stealing son of a gun in the best way possible. The two had a professional relationship offset, but weren't particularly close. Clint was a loner. Wallach, from the New York stage, was more expressive and extroverted. During shooting, Wallach faced genuine danger. In the scene where Tuco finds himself handcuffed to a dead man on top of a speeding train, Wallach was nearly decapitated when the train came too close to an obstacle. There was no stunt double, and no safety coordinator spotted the danger. Wallach managed to duck just in time. Another incident occurred when he drank from a bottle inadvertently filled with acid, which he later laughed off as part of Leone's set madness. Some fans today argue that the good, the bad, and the ugly should have been called Tuco and the other two. While that's an exaggeration, there's truth to it. Wallach brought such richness to the role that he changed the definition of the outlaw in cinema. Not just malevolent, but full of contradictions, greedy and caring, brutal and wounded. In May 2025, the cinematic world found itself caught in a web of misinformation when Vienna-based newspaper Courier published what it claimed was an exclusive interview with Clint Eastwood. The supposed interview featured the legendary actor-director taking aim at Hollywood sequels, modern cinema, and storytelling, comments that would have sent shockwaves through the industry if they were real. There was just one problem. He never said any of it. Clint Eastwood, now 95 years old, issued a rare and swift response, labeling the entire piece as phony. His representatives backed up his statement with firm denials, stating clearly that he had not spoken to Courier or any of its journalists in years. The scandal became bigger when Courier finally admitted the truth. The piece, written by journalist Elizabeth Sarita, had recycled what Eastwood said in various interviews over the years, sometimes over a decade old, and presented them as new comments. The paper immediately retracted the article, apologized, and severed ties with Sarita. In a public statement, Courier pledged to improve its editorial scrutiny, but the damage was already done. Fans felt betrayed, not by Eastwood, but by the media. Many readers had praised the fake interview as an honest critique before learning they'd been misled. The story traveled far before it was questioned. reflecting how fragile media trust has become in the digital age. Contrary to the viral misquotes, Eastwood is not on a warpath against the entire industry. He doesn't loathe modern movies or despise all franchises. What he does reject is excess, bloated budgets, overuse of CGI, and stories that lack human connection. In a real interview with the New York Times from years earlier, Eastwood said, "If the story's good, you don't need to blow everything up. Let the characters breathe." It's a sentiment he's lived by for most of his directing career. Take Gran Torino, Million Dollar Baby, or Mystic River. None relied on digital spectacle. Instead, they were rooted in character, dialogue, and quiet intensity. Eastwood once described cinema as the art of restraint, and what frustrates him isn't innovation, it's the loss of emotional depth in the race for franchise profits. His directorial style has often been characterized as rigorous. He seldom permits retakes and usually uses lean crews, staging scenes in very few takes, usually one or two. "If you overdo it, you lose the moment," he told Variety in 2019. When he criticizes modern Hollywood, it's about a philosophical change from risk-taking to ensuring safe obedience. He's seen studios move toward reboots and sequels, but he doesn't dismiss all current films. He praised Joker for its audacity and referred to Christopher Nolan as a guy who actually still takes risks. Eastwood isn't hostile to the new, he's frustrated by the unremarkable. Even die-hard fans often miss the carefully hidden choices that elevate the good, the bad, and the ugly from Western classic to something mythical. Eastwood has quietly revealed that some of the film's most impactful moments were never in the script. They were discovered during the long days on set. The graveyard scene, one of cinema's most breathtaking final acts, had its circular tombstones, tracking shots, and Blondie's iconic cigar flick all improvised. Eastwood said much of the cemetery climax was blocked out the day off, including his decision to move slower, make fewer gestures, and let tension hang in the air. The well-remembered bridge explosion scene nearly destroyed the production. The bridge was blown up accidentally before any cameras were rolling due to a miscommunication between the special effects crew and the command team. This held up production for days, with Leone furiously working to rebuild. Later, Eastwood confessed the accident actually benefited the scene. The rebuilt bridge had more grit, and the waiting time added real tension that translated into the final cut. The good, the bad, and the ugly wasn't filmed in sequence. Eastwood shot some final scenes early in the shooting schedule, creating emotional complexity as he had to play a character backwards through events the audience hadn't yet seen. You play the moment as truthfully as you can, even if it hasn't happened yet in the story, he said in a retrospective. Even the costumes tell their own stories. Eastwood wore the same poncho in all 3 Dollars Trilogy films and never washed it, not once. He purposely kept it filthy and damaged for authenticity, understanding that audiences would unconsciously reject anything that seemed fake. The production was plagued by logistical nightmares. Shot primarily in Spain's Tabernas Desert, the film faced what Eastwood noted was no such thing as safety standards on Leone's sets. Director Leone spoke practically no English. Eastwood spoke no Italian. The two relied heavily on translators, creating creative misunderstandings that sometimes generated tension, but ultimately enhanced the film's authenticity. Eastwood's portrayal of Blondie redefined the Western hero. Until then, Western protagonists were loud, righteous, and overly noble. Eastwood flipped that concept completely. With a clenched jaw and narrowed eyes, he embodied moral ambiguity through posture and cigarette flicks. He understood that silence could be louder than any monologue. This became his way of life. In the years following, Eastwood rarely gave interviews, never courted controversy, and when he spoke about film, it carried the weight of someone who had seen Hollywood change from the inside. He wielded this mystique deliberately, building a persona that remained unshakable even in our digital age where celebrities share everything. The recent fake interview scandal was particularly disturbing because it violated something sacred to Eastwood, his own voice. When Courier published fabricated quotes, it went viral partly because the statement seemed authentic to his old-school principles. But Eastwood has never allowed others to speak for him. He has always known the difference between what people want to hear and what's worth saying. Behind that squinted look lies a filmmaker who, despite his years, still respects storytelling's power. He continues championing fresh talent, working with new writers, composers, and actors. His recent film, Juror Number 2, proves he's not just a relic of the golden age. He's still making films that matter. Because I still love the challenge of figuring out a story. The world keeps changing, but people don't really change that much, Eastwood said when asked what keeps him motivated at his age. It's a quiet but profound observation that says more about his view of Hollywood than any fabricated quote ever could.
All rise.
How you doing?
Don't ask me how I'm doing. Where's the money? You speak, I rule, and then you shut up. Got it.
20 seasons. That is an incredible thing.
Camera goes by like this.
Wow. Did you have any idea that it would become what it has become?
When I started, I thought, well, if I didn't embarrass myself and I had 3 seasons, it would be okay.
After 25 years at the top, Judge Judy didn't retire. She walked away from a TV empire fueled by betrayal, a hidden health crisis, and back-to-back legal wars. The real reason she left? A mini-stroke on set, lawsuits from former allies, and a burning need to break free and build something bolder. What she created next is nothing short of a reinvention. Judge Judy Sheindlin's journey to television stardom began long before cameras ever rolled. In 1965, she passed the New York State Bar examination and immediately entered the corporate world as a lawyer for a cosmetics firm. After 2 years, she realized the job didn't provide the fulfillment she wanted. She quit and decided to focus on her children, Jamie and Adam. In 1972, Judy decided to return to work, but she wanted something that would give her satisfaction. She heard about a prosecutor position in the New York family court system from a friend and applied. Judy impressed the hiring committee and was brought on board. Her tough attitude quickly made her a legend, catching the attention of New York Mayor Ed Koch, who appointed her as a criminal court judge in 1982. By 1986, she earned a promotion to supervising judge in the family court's Manhattan division. Her brand of justice was described as tough and sometimes harsh, a style that would later make her famous. Before her television career began, Judy had heard over 20,000 cases, establishing her credentials as a no-nonsense judicial authority. The path to television fame started when Heidi Getlin noticed Judy's unique judicial style and told her husband Josh to write about her. Josh, who worked with the Los Angeles Times, wrote an article describing Judy as a woman determined to make the court system work for the common good. This article attracted the attention of Kay Switzer and Sandy Spreeman, who worked for Rebel Entertainment, a talent management agency. They introduced Judy to CBS, which featured her in a segment on CBS's 60 Minutes. The audience response was immediate and overwhelming. Judy became a nationwide sensation overnight. Capitalizing on her newfound fame, she wrote a book titled Don't Pee on My Leg and Tell Me It's Raining in 1996. Shortly after, Judy retired as a family court judge, but retirement wasn't her plan. Rebel Entertainment had worked out a show idea similar to the People's Court and pitched it to CBS. They loved the concept, and Judy was approached to be the judge of a court show that would bear her name. She accepted, but wasn't feeling the chemistry with her initial bailiff. In 1995, Hawkinsburg read a news article about Judy's book and loved it. He wrote her a letter stating that if she needed a bailiff, he was ready to put his uniform back on for her. When Judy called him, Bird knew his answer before she finished speaking. Judge Judy was born, and it revolutionized courtroom programming on television. Judge Judy quickly became more than just the most popular court show. It became one of the most popular programs in television history. The show regularly attracted 9 to 10 million viewers daily, and even beat the ratings of The Oprah Winfrey Show on multiple occasions. At its peak, Judge Judy was the highest-rated show in all of daytime television programming. Recognition and awards followed. Judy received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in February 2006 and was inducted into Broadcasting and Cable's Hall of Fame in October 2012. In April 2013, she won an award from the Vice Presidency of the UCD Law Society. After 15 nominations, Judge Judy finally won its first Emmy in 2013, opening the floodgates for more awards in 2016 and 2017. On September 14, 2015, Judy achieved Guinness World Records recognition as the longest-serving judge or arbiter in courtroom-themed programming history and for having the longest-running courtroom show. The financial success was staggering. In early 2005, Judy's salary reached approximately $25 million per year, making her net worth grow to $95 million. This wealth made her the 13th woman on the Forbes list of the 20 richest women in entertainment. Her salary later increased to $45 million per year and eventually to a contract worth $147 million through 2021, making her the highest-paid television star. However, success came at a cost. The show's business model required constant filming. Litigants were paid between $100 to $500 to appear, with some receiving around $250. The show provided Hollywood accommodations with expenses paid during filming. When Judge Judy awarded fees, defendants didn't have to pay. The show covered these costs. Critics accused many litigants of fabricating disputes solely to get paid, leading to accusations that the show prioritized drama over authenticity. The overwhelmed schedule prevented Judy from taking adequate breaks. In 2010, she considered retirement when her contract was set to expire in 2014. But before that time came, something terrible happened that changed everything. On March 30th, 2011, Judy arrived on set appearing normal but thoroughly exhausted. As they continued filming and the bailiff called a case, Judy was listening to the parties when everything went black. She had fainted and was immediately rushed to the hospital. Doctors ran tests and discovered she had suffered a mini stroke. Despite this health scare, Judy didn't quit. Instead, she extended her contract and received another salary increase that same year. The legal troubles began mounting in 2016 when Rebel Entertainment Partners Incorporated and its president, Richard Lawrence, filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against CBS television distribution. They accused CBS of cheating them out of money made from the show, claiming CBS was paying Judy too much, making it impossible for CBS to pay Rebel what they deserved. Rebel claimed the show wasn't as profitable as CBS made it seem. Judy found herself caught in this legal whirlwind. She defended herself against allegations, accusing Richard of being too greedy despite receiving over $17 million from her show. She called him selfish, noting that after their initial meeting before the show began, he never contacted her again. Judy defended the amount CBS paid her, arguing it reflected the value she brought to the network. In 2018, the court agreed with Judy, declaring she was not overpaid and was a valuable asset to CBS. However, the court also ruled that Judy and CBS should have informed Rebel about spin-offs. When Rebel Entertainment appealed and pushed for another lawsuit, this time including Judy as a defendant, she had enough. Judy countersued them for $22 million, accusing them of unfair business practices. The court put Judy in a difficult position. She had to countersue CBS if she wanted to maintain her case. Faced with choosing between pursuing money or remaining loyal to CBS, Judy chose loyalty and lost her case. The California Court of Appeal agreed with the lower court that CBS didn't breach any contract with Rebel, declaring that CBS was paying Rebel the agreed amount in the stipulated manner. Additional lawsuits followed. Kay Switzer and Sandy Spreeman's trustee, Jay Robinson, sued Judy, CBS Corporation, CBS Studios, and Big Ticket Television, claiming they were owed royalties for discovering Judy. The court found no merit in the case and dismissed it in 2021. In March 2013, Patrice Jones, wife of Randy Duth, Judge Judy's executive producer, sued Judy, accusing her of conspiring with her husband to buy valuable cutlery and fine china that belonged to Jones. Judy returned the cutlery to Randy, who gave them back to his wife. While these legal battles raged, Judy was secretly planning her next move. In March 2020, during an appearance on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, she announced that Judge Judy would end after its 25th season. This wasn't retirement, it was transformation. Before Judge Judy ended, Judy had developed a plan to create a new courtroom show that would cross generations and appeal to newer audiences. She created Judy Justice, wanting to work with her granddaughter to make it relatable to younger viewers. However, in pursuing this vision, she made a controversial decision. She decided not to include Bailiff Bird in the new show, telling him she couldn't afford to pay his salary. This surprised Bird, who thought his longtime presence and loyalty should have earned him first consideration before Judy made the decision for him. Bird was hurt but accepted it was time to move on. The decision backfired with fans. They remembered how Judy had previously treated Bird poorly, including at the first Emmy ceremony the show won, where Bird sat 20 rows behind Judy instead of with her. When it was time to present the award, Judy allowed another person to present it to her instead of Bird.